Super Mario 3D World originally released on the Wii U back in 2013 to rave reviews. It was also one of the last games still stranded on the Wii U, which has always frustrated me as I absolutely loved 3D World and it was among my favourite Wii U exclusives. Now, 3D World has finally made the leap over to the Switch, and it's also being bundled with a brand new Mario game, Bowser's Fury. I'm glad to report that even 7 years on, 3D World remains an immaculate platformer, and Bowser's Fury, while flawed, is one of the most unique and experimental Mario projects ever. Let's start with the meat of this bundle, 3D World. Super Mario 3D World is a sequel to Super Mario 3D Land on the 3DS. 3D Land and 3D World are unlike any other Mario games. They're 3D games with a fixed camera perspective that are made up of a series of linear levels like the 2D Mario games. I really like this style of Mario game, and I hope we get to see it make a return at some point. 3D World can be played either solo or with up to 4 players, though playing with multiple people can be incredibly chaotic and might not be ideal if you're looking to 100% every level. As you'd guess, there are also 4 different characters to play as: Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach. Each character plays slightly differently with their own pros and cons. For example, Toad is by far the fastest character of the bunch, but he also can't jump very high. If you're playing solo, you'll most likely want to play as Mario, as he's the most well-rounded character. 3D World plays as well as you'd expect, thanks to its tight platforming and impeccable level design. There's no other series that feels quite like Mario. Mario's controls are always refined to perfection, so it's easy to see why the series has been looked at as the gold standard of platformers for over 30 years. 3D World occasionally throws in a couple of different level types to break up the platforming. One of these level types sees you controlling Plessy, a dinosaur who swims her way through a handful of different courses throughout 3D World, with the other level type being the Captain Toad levels, which inspired the spin-off Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. These levels see Captain Toad navigating his way through different labyrinthian levels in search of stars. Captain Toad's levels play completely differently to the rest of 3D World, as Captain Toad doesn't have the ability to jump, meaning that these levels are much more puzzle focused. Both the Plessy levels and the Captain Toad levels are among the most fun and memorable levels in 3D World. 3D World's boss fights are fun, but often very simplistic. Many of the boss fights see Mario squaring off against one of the Koopa kids. These fights are very by-the-numbers Mario boss battles that usually consist of avoiding enemy attacks, then jumping on their heads. Though there are some boss fights that offer a little more flair, both mechanically and visually. For example, one boss fight sees you facing off against Bowser while he's driving a car. Bowser will be constantly pelting bombs at you, and you'll have to be on the lookout for bombs shaped like soccer balls that you can kick back at him. Power-ups are one of the most essential aspects of a Mario game, and 3D World has one of the best assortments of power-ups in the series' long history. 3D World's most notable power-up is probably the cat suit, which allows you to pounce, swipe, and run up walls. The cat suit made its debut in this game, and has since become one of Mario's most iconic power-ups. The other power-up that was first introduced in 3D World is the double cherry. This power-up creates clones of Mario, which allows for some light puzzle elements, though this power-up is used very sparsely in 3D World. Aside from these new power-ups, a handful of Mario's other iconic power-ups, like the Fire Flower, Tanuki Suit, and Boomerang Suit, also appear in 3D World. If you're looking to 100% 3D World, there are 3 things you'll need to do in every level. Collect the 3 hidden green stars, find the hidden stamp, and hit the top of the flagpole at the end of the level. 3D World offers a good incentive to 100% levels, as 100%ing every level unlocks the final set of post-game levels. 3D World is one of the easiest Mario games, which could be a negative depending on what type of player you are. I 100%ed all the core levels with very little effort. Fortunately, 3D World does have a lot of post-game content, and these bonus worlds are often far more complex and challenging than the main levels. These are also well worth playing as they offer some of 3D World's best level design. Mario 3D World has a pretty timeless look thanks to its clean art style, so its visuals still hold up wonderfully 7 years on. with the exception of one level that features a more open area, which causes a ridiculous amount of pop-in. 3D World also showcases a good variety of locations, including all the Mario staples, like deserts, ice worlds, and haunted houses packed with booze. This allows the game to constantly mix up its visuals between worlds, keeping the game's visual style feeling fresh the whole way through. Now, let's jump over to Bowser's Fury. This cat-themed game is one of the most strange and experimental Mario projects ever. Bowser's Fury has some Mario Sunshine vibes due to its tropical location and world ravaged by goo that corrupts whatever it touches. After coming in contact with the aforementioned goo, Bowser has now become the gigantic Fury Bowser. In Bowser's Fury, Bowser periodically shows up to wreak havoc and unleash barrages of flames in Mario's direction. Before Bowser arrives, it'll start raining, so you have a bit of a heads up that Bowser is on his way. Bowser's presence isn't purely here to impede your progress, as there are certain bricks that can only be broken with Bowser's flames. While I mostly enjoyed this gimmick, I do think Bowser appears just a little too frequently. Bowser pops up every 5 minutes or so, and I did find myself getting a little annoyed with this mechanic a couple of times near the end, when I was just trying to get tasks done, only for Bowser to show up as an unwanted distraction. Along his journey, Mario is accompanied by Bowser Jr., who he's forced to team up with as Bowser Jr. is looking for a way to turn his father back to normal. Bowser Jr. will even lend Mario help along the way. He'll occasionally attack enemies, and he can use his paintbrush to turn question marks that are painted on walls into power-ups for Mario. You can even tweak how much you want Bowser Jr. to assist you to make the game easier or harder. While Bowser's Fury controls almost identically to 3D World and features the same moveset and power-ups, it plays drastically differently. Unlike 3D World, Bowser's Fury features full camera control. Bowser's Fury is also a collectathon game, making it more in line with Super Mario 64, Galaxy or Odyssey than 3D Land or 3D World. Instead of taking place across multiple levels or worlds, Bowser's Fury all takes place on one massive map. This map contains 100 different cat shines, which you'll need to collect to unlock new areas of the map. Once you've got enough bells, you'll be able to unlock different Giga Bells. These transform Mario into Giga Cat Mario, which allows him to fight Fury Bowser. These fights serve as Bowser's Fury's boss fights and are basically kaiju battles. While these fights are a cool idea in theory, they're ultimately the worst part of Bowser's Fury. The camera gets very wonky when you're fighting Bowser, which gets extremely frustrating, and each fight with Bowser plays out almost exactly the same. Another thing that differentiates Bowser's Fury from any other Mario game is that Mario can keep an inventory of power-ups, allowing you to carry 5 of each item type. Stocking up on power-ups isn't something you'd normally see in a Mario game, but it's necessary here as certain cat shines require specific power-ups to get, so it makes sense to be able to switch between power-ups at any time. Plessy also makes her return in Bowser's Fury, and is used to travel between the different islands that make up Bowser's Fury's map. There's even a couple of cat shines that require Plessy to get. While Bowser's Fury has 100 cat shines to collect, you'll only need 50 to finish the game, so if you're a completionist, you'll still have plenty more to do after finishing Bowser's Fury. While Bowser's Fury is a fairly brief experience, clocking in at about 3 hours to beat, it'll probably take double that if you want to see everything. While it's not the reason to buy 3D World on Switch, Bowser's Fury is well worth playing. It's not only a very good game, but an experience unlike any other Mario title, and it gives you something new to check out if you've already played 3D World. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury solidifies 3D World as one of my favourite Mario games of all time. And Bowser's Fury, while not perfect, is a great bonus that adds a lot of extra value to the package. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this review, please like, subscribe or leave a comment. You can also find countless other game reviews on my channel, including my recent reviews of Cyber Shadow and Destruction AllStars. And make sure to stay tuned for my upcoming review of Persona 5 Strikers.